Visit ZABALGamez.com. That's ZABAL Games.com and sign up.
Decentralized energy, let's talk about Web3.
Shout out to I-Man, killing it with the intros, loving it. How we feeling today, B?
Doing amazing, family. Doing amazing. Good to see you. Good to be here. Good to sit down. I appreciate you with the invite, man. How's everything your way? What's going on?
It's going amazing on my end. This is day 2 of our ZABAL Gamez. We had 2 awesome guests on yesterday talking builder stuff. Today we have you on, your first creator, talking creator stuff. I'm actually really excited because I think you could be one of the few individuals that hit the trio of workshops and it hit the ABCs of the Zaal, the artist, the builder, and the creator track. Because I think you have something to share in each of those. So I'm excited to talk creator today. We've been live streaming together a lot here and there throughout the last year plus. We met in the community of the individual that has continued and pushed us to kind of come here over to Twitch, Jaden Violet from the UVR. So shout out to him. I would love to know, or for the audience that doesn't know you, for you to share a little bit, about yourself, about Ohnahji, why your name is Ohnahji B, and what everyone can expect from you here today.
Most definitely. Appreciate you. Yeah, well, I'm Ohnahji B. Ohnahji is the community, that we built back in 2022, January. Started off as an OG PFP NFT 10K collection that really kind of branched into an amazing community of talented artists, huge big brain developers, and just, people ingrained in culture. We kind of branded ourselves as a safe space for Black and brown. Hey, look at that. Got the merch going crazy. I love it. Branded ourselves as, a safe space for Black, brown, and allied folks to learn about emerging tech. And we've been, learning and growing, having workshops, conversations, daily lives, and all kind of stuff. Go-to conversations about that and just building and branching out, and it's been a really good time. So yeah, I'm Ohnahji B. I'm one of the founders. The B is for Brian, obviously, right there on the screen. But Ohnahji is the community name, and that's the community. Blockchain's first HBCU.
Hell yeah! And through that process, coming in 2021, seeing the NFT craze, pushing, creating a ultimate NFT project in there that you didn't see something that represented that thing, so you wanted to create it. And I think that's super powerful, is the idea here that like this space is in blockchain or emerging tech is so vast and open, where like you can take your own lane and really go with it and find like that niche that hasn't been carved out yet, where in a lot of traditional software or entrepreneurship, a lot of the niches that you think are very niche, where you barely will even get enough customers to survive, isn't actually like, it is still oversupplied, right? So I think there's so many cool things about that space, but then there's also so many problems. It comes with a lot of different cons and problems and perception challenges that it faces. So one of the interesting things of the meld between streaming and blockchain that I've seen, and that's been interesting for me, has been seeing the fact that there is a lot of overlap in the customer, or like the type of person you want to target for your audience in streaming, specifically on Twitch. Then there is and there's a lot of that overlap that I think that can be really a lot of the individuals over there would be willing to buy a crypto coin but aren't educated enough on it, versus a lot of people on a lot of other social media platforms aren't even willing to put their money on the internet like that in the hope, for any reason whatsoever, because they don't understand it. And I'd love for you to chat about like what you've seen from like the transit. I mean, we could even talk about our podcast that started on Twitter Spaces and we evolved it over to live streaming, but then also a lot of your media and brand when you went from the just audio side to the audio video, and what the transition was like for anyone that's over there on Spaces just doing the audio, and then B, like, what is different? Why is it so powerful?
Definitely. Most definitely. I believe what's the ideal consumer? Shout out to Von Moore in the chat. It's good to see you, family. I think for me, and you hit the nail on the head, it's like there was a shift for me when I was building, Ohnahji, and we were talking about emerging tech and trying to be on the cutting edge of everything, right? But there is a beauty to not abandoning the current tech that's already out there, the current things, the current infrastructure that already kind of works. And we've seen that. You mentioned our conversations that started off as just regular audio space calls, right? No cameras on. Then we branched off and we brought the podcast. Let's talk about Web3. Change that over to let's talk about ETH. Turn the cams on and got into the live streaming era. I think it is kind of, for me, part of the reason that we got into streaming was, like you mentioned, JV, but also a lot of those Web3 platforms that we were dabbling on, community that we were building was trying to build some Web3 infrastructure, kind of putting, NFTs to live streaming, the tech, the marketplaces to live streaming, and all kind of eventually are not here any longer. I mean, I feel like there's a beauty in embracing what already works. And I'm on day 288 out of 365 of this daily stream journey, and it's been an interesting shift, but it's been a really good time. I think I was having a conversation earlier, and I was talking to one of my friends, and humans are trying to find, especially in this tech, especially in AI. AI has its beautiful uses and things, but for the most part, humans are longing for, even if they don't say it, they're longing for human to human interaction, human to human connection. Like, they see it dwindling on socials, they see it dwindling IRL. When people go out, they're not talking to anybody. It's like social skills. So I think in the digital sense, live streaming makes the most sense. Like, you can instantly, for the most part, prove there's a human in front of you, there's a human connection, and people are live in the chat. You can tell that they're humans, because not a whole lot of chat bots that are in the chats, the live chats. But yeah, so I think it's beautiful. I think it's important to not forget the tech that works when you're hunting what's the new biggest and best thing, for sure.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think a lot of people jump into blockchain and then take it full bore and are like, okay, well, I'm gonna like do everything on chain for no reason at all, right? And it can be powerful to bring things on chain, especially things that like can be better on chain.
Right.
But like you're saying, like the Web2 use cases that are out there still get great distribution. So there's value in that right now, especially in a dwindling audience of blockchain consumers anyways.
Yeah, facts. Huge facts.
Okay, so one of the questions that I want to talk to you about is, what are the lessons learned, like practical lessons? If someone, you just said 280 something days, I didn't really hear exactly what number in 80, which is nuts. I mean, we know you're going to get to 365, which is awesome, and it's great to watch and see that. Out of that plus like the additional, I don't know, you did 80 day streak or whatever, but like the additional few months before that, what are, like, let's say the top 5 things you learned with like things that an individual can do at the very beginning that you don't have to then just like learn by doing it, right? You've learned by over time some of these ways to be better at producing the stream, and I'd love to know some of those things. We can talk about like OBS versus a Restream or a StreamYard type platform. I think that's a good topic to hit, but then also just like anything else that you think will be super valuable for someone who's like, okay, boom, like I'm gonna do it, today's the day. What are the things that'll help them along the way?
Most definitely. Yeah, first and foremost, it is live. And it was one of the things that I struggled with in the most. In the beginning, it's like, as I tend to sometimes have a perfectionist side of me, especially in the art and the music side. But you have to know, and it's good to reinforce that this is live in the moment and we're still working with tech. So things are going to go down, things are going to break. It doesn't matter what tool you use. You know, you mentioned OBS, Restream, StreamYard. It doesn't matter. Any broadcast tool is going to have some glitches, some technical whatever. You know, the internet's going to cut out here and there. You know, when people say consistency really is king, it really is. So there's a whole lot of people, you know, who will start in the beginning, your first day, your first, you know, when you press live, the first week, your first month, and it's going to be frustrating, and it's supposed to be. It's really not easy, and I think everybody has to realize that, you know, there is grace in learning it, and you will get better with it. Like it's inevitable. Once you, this is one of those spaces, one of those, you know, those mediums, those tech, whatever, anything that you will get better over time, regardless. Um, like if nobody shows up, you will get better. Just learning the tools, being able to multitask around what you're doing live. So you have to keep going. So when people say, especially in, you know, in content in live streaming, you know, you got to keep going. You know, the daily grind works. 365 journey does work because it forces people to do it every day and to get better and not give up. It's really easy to kind of give up in the first week, first month. You know, it is frustrating, but everybody goes through it. But a lot of streamers, a lot of content creators, they're not talking about those early days. They're not talking about how nobody really understands what they're doing. Even if you're told, you have to go through it. And it's one of those mediums that's that. So yeah.
Boom.
As far as like on the technicals though, you know, and it comes over time. You have to build up to, you know, multi-streaming. If you're going to different platforms, different places, that's going to put a strain on, you know, your connection. That's going to put a strain on, you know, what you can broadcast bit rate wise and all that good stuff. um, that puts a strain on what different tools you can use, what other tabs you can have, of what you can actually show while you're streaming. So, but all of that, it comes with like time, just doing it. You have to try it, you have to do it, and you have to learn it for yourself. Like, no, well, there are probably a few individuals who are blessed with the whole production team and all that good stuff from day one, but for most of the time, like a lot of people are doing it themselves. They have to do some stuff on the fly, and you know, everybody's used to that. The chats are used to that. The people watching live streams are used to that. So, you know, don't think too much on that and just keep going, keep learning and keep growing in it.
Boom. I love it. One of the things that we haven't done yet and we should do, and it's a great reason that we didn't do it until we went live, is go live together on Twitch. So I'm going to share my screen and show what it looks like. Do you want to send an invite?
You know what is funny about that?
What?
I am on a different computer and I'm not on Chrome, and I almost sent the invite earlier, and I knew you were gonna ask that.
Oh man.
I knew you were gonna ask that, but
Well,
we could figure it live on the fly
here,
while
let me
while we're
try and
going.
not out. It says you
Let's see.
cannot
Hold
join a
on.
call on your own stream.
That's too
Interesting.
funny.
Oh wait, no, that's because it's mine. I need to go to yours. That makes sense. Okay. I requested
Oh,
it.
there we
See
go.
if you can do
Yes,
it.
that'll work. Let me
Okay.
hit that.
So
Accept.
because Ohnahji and I are both following each other, when either of us is live or both of us is live, I think there's this knock button right on the profile. And this is on Twitch specifically. And it's a very powerful tool because let me share this tab. This is what it looks like. And it is a audio chat room video as well that you can add in here, which I'm not going to because we have it my cam over here. But ultimately you can use this as a traditional audio room, but most people just have it and then mute and leave it on because there's this tool right here that's called the shared chat. So whenever Ohnahji pops in here, if he can, I don't know if you were
I
able to
don't know if
figure it
it's
out
gonna
or
let
no.
me. Hold
Okay.
on. Yeah, I don't even
Um,
have Chrome on here either.
you don't have it on your phone or anything?
I haven't. You can accept it on the phone.
I don't know. Probably, maybe.
Let's
We'll
see.
see. Well, so that's some of the things that we could try live, right? But I think this is a super useful thing that we only learned after a little bit of time playing around with this. It can be very powerful to collaborate with other individuals, especially because that helps pass time sometimes as well. So being able to be continue a conversation with someone, play a game with another individual, grow with another individual in some way, shape, or form can be really powerful. So this is an awesome tool that individuals can use on Twitch to have the chats connected and enabled, and the whole setup to be connected, which is pretty cool.
Most definitely. I can get into the stream manager here. See if you can send that invite one more time, and I'll see if it pops up on here on the phone.
Bum, bum.
No, I see it in the chat there.
Well, I can actually wait. I have a link. There's an invite link, guys. Okay, cool. It's like blacked out as well, so I could share this. Boom, boom. Actually, yeah, I'll show the other way to get to it, but ultimately on that same page, if you go to invite guests, there is a link you can copy here for an invite link. So that is also super easy. So I'm going to send that over and let's see if that works, because that'd be cool. But let me share this tab and go to creator dashboard. So there's another place you can do this, which is under the stream manager. And then there's some options here that is stream together. And when you click this one, it'll pop open the that same window that we had opened when we pressed knock. So if you don't have someone else that's live, you can do it manually through there. What other, oh, okay, we got a question by Javi as well. Do you feel as if the consistency on streams helped you improve at public speaking and communicating in general, or were you already amazing at it before?
I appreciate you, Javi. That's too funny. Yeah, no, I think I've gotten quite a bit better. It's different. I think there's an element to it which is the chat, which I love so much. You know, I think that's one of the unspoken heroes of live streaming, is having that live chat, and you know, having the ability for the streamer to be able to have that interaction and read the chats live, so that it kind of gets recorded with the conversation as well too. I think there's a you know, an art to that for sure. I think there's a broad spectrum of that as well too, which is kind of cool to see. And you know, there's some successful streamers that, you know, they're probably upping their reading skill while they're streaming and things like that. And there's other people that are like elite readers, which is kind of cool to see. But yeah, for me, I think we were already kind of having these go-to conversations. You know, I think for me, the most jarring part was the turning the cam on part. You know, we were having audio spaces with the fam, you know, our longest segment, Ohnahji Saturdays, you know, talking tech week to week since February 2022, you know. So the hardest part for me was just popping on the cams and just like doing the tech work that kind of came along with that, because I'm really not like a video or camera guy. So it's been really kind of cool learning the jargon, learning the tech and all that good stuff behind that. So, but no, W question, Javi, I appreciate you. It's good to see you, family. Thanks for tapping in.
I love it. What are other tips you can give for people to start to live stream more, or when they are doing that consistency? Some of the powerful things, because I know rating is a powerful tool that, again, Twitch offers. And I'm talking about some of these ideas because one of the projects I'm working on with someone on Farcaster is an open source OBS with an LLM embedded in it, is the ultimate idea at a very simple level. But then, like all of the things we've been having conversations about, we've talked to 3, maybe 4 different teams that have done streaming in some way, shape, or form in Web3, and most of them are no longer here with us in that same capacity, the companies. But there's a lot of lessons that I think we've learned along the way that are things like we would want out of a platform, out of a streaming platform. And I think it'd be really powerful to be able to potentially build that here in this ZABAL game. So one of the workshops that we could do potentially is building on top of that. I have some ideas together, but I need to do more research and put together a proper doc and maybe get that ready and started, and then we could build on top of it, because I think that could be super powerful. And just the iteration of using that and reusing that and building on top of that can be like that recursive software building and making it better for like your use cases, which is crazy powerful, because OBS could do a lot of the things, but you just like don't know exactly the setting where, and you don't want to have to press that each time. So being able to make those things easier in a smooth way for like an individual like you or me that wants to abstract away all the tooling and just like, I need this, this, and this, and like I have this, this, and this. Let's template it over, right, and like make it usable with one, like on day one, right?
I love that. I love that. No, I'm intrigued. Yeah. Another open. Yeah. OBS. Do it up and keep me posted on that. Most definitely. That's awesome. Z, what was your initial question? I had an answer for it, but I lost it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know.
No, you're good.
You mean the like very back? It was like, what are your top 5 things, or like what are your rating? We were talking about top things you can do for people.
Yeah, so rating, most definitely. I was gonna say one of the things that got me hooked, and because I know you're also one of these guys, but the gamification of different things, leaderboards, achievements, it's all embedded in that, and I had no idea. Like especially on the Twitch platform, there were so many different milestones that were tracked on the achievements, and that was super fun. That's one of the reasons why I was raiding so much. I love the raiding system. I love raids already just because it branches communities together. It's a cool community discovery tool. But also, I'm learning a lot, especially dabbling with AI and prompting and stuff, prompt coding on stream and off. I'm learning a lot of different things. Connecting within Twitch chat, so like the ease actually to be able to monitor chat, to see what's going on in there, and to build your own bots essentially. We don't have to, streamers don't really have to be locked into some of the big ones, like Nightbot, Stream Elements, and different things like that. There's some powerful tooling that you can cook up on your own, kind of similar to how you're saying, like there's ways to cook up some of your own tooling. Alternatives to OBS and things. So
yeah, why don't we even talk about that real quick? API keys and environment variables, right? That's something that I think is something that is a lot more on the builder track side of things. But if you want to understand and learn a little bit about this space, on that side of building for yourself, it's powerful to understand these like very basic principles. And API keys are secrets that you can get that are authenticated to your account, that is a string of letters and numbers that you put into your code to give like the rights that your account is giving under that API key to the code that you want to build that does that thing. Twitch has a function, Discord, like Telegram, many platforms have the functionality for building your own thing in with an API key. When you're using code, when you're writing code normally, you will be writing these secrets in environment variable files. So the environment variable files, ENV for short, are going to be things that you do not publish to the internet. These are things you keep locally to your computer, because if they go on the internet, someone else can use them and gain access to your code in a way that you don't want. Do you think that explained it well?
Yeah, most definitely. Most
Do you have
definitely.
anything to add on that? I think there's a lot of things we could touch on. We continue on. We're at about 25 minutes. So I do want to try and keep it under 30. We could do another creator one, because I think it'd be great to bring in a couple more creators and have people share a little bit. But
Yeah.
do you want to share a couple like last words of wisdom?
Most definitely. I think that's probably the scariest piece for me, just being like in control of like a Web3 community with, a PFP and all that good stuff. I'm very wary of like what I show on screen and what, especially in the streaming side. You mentioned environment variables, API keys, different things like that. Just be super cognizant around what you're screen sharing. I know a lot of streamers out there, they just screen share everything, like, desktop and going through sites and stuff. But if you have it's best practice to keep, your secrets, especially if you're doing development work and streaming. Just make sure that, double check what you're sharing, just so that something drastic doesn't happen because we're moving too fast. And that's the same ethos around Web3 and wallets and stuff. But yeah, because we are live streaming and bad things can happen. We've seen those stories too, where someone's they're on stream and they click over to a desktop, they click into a notepad or something like that in 5 seconds. That's it. Because people they can go clip it, they can freeze it, they can pause it, rewind right in the moment. So just be careful.
Awesome. Great advice. I think it's great to come from the Web3 space because you're usually supposed to be on high alert at all times. So I think that's very powerful because a lot of people on Twitch do not use those same security practices that we've like been kind of like ingrained in us because of a hack here or there in some way, shape, or form, or seeing a friend be hacked here or there. But that be safe. That's a great way to put it. And one of the things that I want to cap this off with that I think you said at the very beginning, and you always continue to say that always struck me really well, is if there's any doubt in your mind, just take a step back and go slower. Like that is always going to be better. Like there's 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, there isn't going to be a better thing happening because you rushed. There is like very much like if someone is trying to get you to rush, especially someone you don't know well, especially someone like potentially calling that is someone you do know well, but like is a really weird thing in amount because like maybe you know them from, some faraway place or something like that, right? Like there could be a lot of different things. So I digress. The best thing you said was take a step back, be slow, take that step and like do your due diligence, do your research. Like there's no need to rush into things, and that can always save you, right? Like because there'll always be 1 or 2 red flags here, and the challenge that happens with most security things is that people rush. So we'll leave it at that. We'll slow down. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for popping in. Cheers. Have a great rest of your guys' night, and we'll see you guys soon.
All right.
This is Zaal, keep it a Zaali. From the Zaal down, come proper. We eat rappers for lunch, and there's some left, we eat them for supper. I keep it a Zaal, homie, a Zaali. Heard the streets calling E3. I man to assignments, now the whole word here about me.